Hey, my brother, what you here for? He said, nothing.
As we all sit here on Elections Eve, we all sit in uncertainty. I don't want to add to that uncertainty. I'd like to share a few poems that I'd love to read that kind of inspire me and I have some knowledge behind. And I just think if this is history right now where we're living, I want to do something that I want to do, and that's read poetry to anyone that'll listen. The first 3 poems are by various poets. The last 3 are by one of my favorite poets, Emily Dickinson. My first poem is an ode to freedom. This poem makes me feel like I'm about to leave on a nice trip, on a nice vacation. It's 4 a.m, the air is fresh, the world is calm, the roads are open, there's dew on the grass. It's invigorating. And this poem makes me think of that freedom that we have in this country. So I hope maybe it makes you feel the same. This is Walt Whitman's free verse poem titled From the Song of the Open Road, from his 1856 collection, Leaves of Grass. Afoot and light-hearted I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me, the long brown path before me leading wherever I choose. Henceforth I ask not good fortune, I myself am good fortune. Henceforth I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing, done with indoor complaints, libraries, querulous criticisms. Strong and content I travel the open road. The earth that is sufficient, I do not want the constellations any nearer. I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. Still here I carry my own delicious burdens. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I am filled with them, and I will fill them in return. You road, I enter and look around. I believe you are not all that is here. I believe that much unseen is also here. Here the profound lesson of reception, nor preference nor denial. The black with his woolly head, the felon, the diseased, the illiterate person are not denied. The birth, the hasting after the physician, the beggar's tramp, the drunkard's stagger, the laughing party of mechanics, the escaped youth, the rich person's carriage, the fop, the eloping couple, the early market man, the hearse, the moving of furniture into the town, the returning back from the town. They pass, I also pass. Anything passes. None can be interdicted. None but are accepted. None but shall be dear to me. I hope you enjoyed that poem. That was again by Walt Whitman. My next poem is by Patricia Smith. This poem is called Skinhead. And just a brief intro for you guys. Patricia Smith is a beautiful Black woman that has written amazing work. You can visit her website at wordwoman.ws. That's WORDWOMAN.WS. This poem does not use the kindest words in a few sentences. However, you must hear these words in order to hear her point. She's writing this from the point of view of someone completely opposite herself. It's a man, a racist, a skinhead. The next poem is called, excuse me. Let me begin reading Patricia Smith's Skinhead. They call me a skinhead. and I got my own beauty. It is knife scrawled across my back in sword jagged letters. It's in the way my eyes snap away from the obvious. I sit in my dim matchbox on the edge of a bed, tussled with my ragged smell, slide razors across my hair, count how many ways I can bring blood closer to the surface of my skin. There are duties of the righteous, the ways of the anointed. The face that moves in my mirror is huge and pockmarked, scraped pink and brilliant, apple-cheeked. I am filled with my own spit. 2 years ago, a machine that slices leather sucked in my hand and held it, whacking off 3 fingers at the root. I didn't feel nothing till I looked down and saw one of them on the floor next to my boot heel, and I ain't worked since then. I sit here and watch N-words take over my TV set, walking like kings up and down the sidewalk in my head, walking like their fat black mamas named them freedom. My shoulders tell me that ain't right. So I move out into the sun where my beauty makes them lower their heads, or into the night with a lead pipe up my sleeve, a razor tucked in my boot. I was born to make things right. It's easy now to move my big body into shadows, to move in from a place where there is nothing into the stark circle of a streetlight, the pipe raised up high over my head. It's a kick to watch their eyes get big, round and gleaming like cartoon jungle boys. They know the pipe's gonna come down, and I got this thing I like to say. Listen to this, I'd like to say, hey, N-word. Abe Lincoln's been dead a long time. I get hard listening to their skin burst. I was born to make things right. This newspaper guy comes around, seems I was happy, seems I was a little sloppy kicking some fag's ass, and he opened his hole and screamed about it. This reporter finds me curled up in my bed, those TV flashes licking my face clean, same old shit. Ain't got no job. The colors and spit got 'em all. Why I ain't working? Look at my hand, asshole. No, I ain't part of no organized group. I'm just a white boy who loves his race, fighting for a pure country. Sometimes it's just me, sometimes 3, sometimes 30. AIDS will take care of the faggots. Then it's gonna be white on black in the streets. Then there'll be 3 million, I tell him that. So he writes it up, and I come off looking like some kind of freak, like I'm Hitler himself. I ain't that lucky, but I got my own beauty. It is in my steel-toed boots, in the hard corners of my shaved head. I look in the mirror and hold up my mangled hand, only the baby fingers left, sticking straight up. I know it's the wrong goddamn finger, but fuck you all anyway. I'm riding to the top rung of the perfect race. My face scraped pink and brilliant. I'm your baby, America, your boy. Drunk on my own spit. I am goddamn fucking beautiful. And I was born and raised right here. Man, that poem speaks volumes to me. It is just so invigorating. I can't even explain it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd love to hear feedback on what people believe in, or what that poem might have read to them. I'm gonna move on to another poem. I think I got my things mixed up here. This one is by John Keats. It's called The Human Seasons. And I begin. 4 seasons fill the measure of the year. There are 4 seasons in the mind of man. He has his lusty spring, when fancy clear takes in all beauty with an easy span. He has his summer, when luxuriously spring's honeyed cud of youthful thought he loves to ruminate, and by such dreaming high is nearest unto heaven. Quiet coves, his soul has its autumn. When wings he furleth close, contented so to look on mists of idleness, to let fair things pass by unheeded as a threshold brook. He has his winter too, of pale misfeature, or else he would forego his mortal nature. That's a good poem. I really enjoy that poem. I can kind of go over what I wrote and how I believe it kind of pans out. So, at each stage, I think Keats is saying that a man's mind experiences a different season and different reactions and interactions with the world around him. So, like in spring, man is fully aware of the world and involved in it. In summer, he kind of looks back on the sweetness of spring. In autumn, he is aware, but less involved, content to look at the world as it passes. And in winter, he seems unaware and disengaged. But this stage, the end of life, is important. It reminds him of his mortality. And I think it shows how each of us, men and women, go through different things in our lives, and through the span of our entire life, the 4 seasons we look at as our, as he says it, spring just lets you boost in there and get it done up until your 30s, I guess. And then you hit autumn, then fall, then winter. So, or summer, I'm sorry. Summer, autumn, winter. And it just speaks volumes to where we are as men and as women in this world. So let's move on. I think I did my Keats. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Now on to Emily Dickinson now. As you know, Emily Dickinson did not title any of her poems. So to read along to whatever I'm looking at now, I'm gonna go through 3 different poems that I find fascinating by Emily Dickinson. And the first one, I'll read the first line as the header. It starts out, "This is my letter to the world." So if you type in Emily Dickinson, "This is my letter to the world," you should see this short poem, only 8 lines. It's short but filled with tons of meaning and symbolism. And here is Emily Dickinson's "This is my letter to the world." This is my letter to the world that never wrote to me, the simple news that nature told with tender majesty. Her message is committed to hands I cannot see, for love of her, sweet countrymen, judge tenderly of me. And to me, what she's saying here is this is her message to the world that never ever sent her a message. And if you love nature, which is delivered in invisible hands, you must not judge her too harshly. And there's a few themes that come up in this poem, and I think of themes of like isolation and loneliness, the yearn for human connection. Um, and this yearn for human connection is shown in the need to write this letter to this gigantic world. But she's felt the world never sent her anything. The use of the word countrymen, which also translates to fellow citizens, this shows the writer's yearn for belonging. Why does she need to be a part of a world of countrymen that do not acknowledge her? Okay, I got to keep moving on. Let's move on to the second poem from Emily Dickinson. The opening line of this one is, "I'm nobody. Who are you?" Second poem from Emily Dickinson. The opening line is, "I'm nobody. Who are you?" "I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too?" Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell. They'd advertise, you know? How dreary to be somebody. How public like a frog. To tell one's name. The livelong June to an admiring bog. Even if you don't, I don't care. I'm gonna still put it up. I might even do another one. Who cares? So for me, this poem, it begins with the introduction from the speaker who announces themselves as a nobody. And they ask for the identity, I guess, which could be you if, as the reader, you're a nobody too. And the speaker just presumes that you're a nobody and instructs that the addressee not tell anyone about this. And because people would make a fuss, which the speaker implies is something you, the reader, already knows. And the speaker also talks about like how boring it is to be somebody. It would leave nothing private. The speaker, likens being somebody to being a frog. Somebody spend their time talking themselves up to anyone who give them attention and admire them, comparing frogs to making noises in a swamp. Do you yearn to be a somebody? By me having this podcast, does it make me look like I yearn to be a somebody? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too deep with it. And now, the last poem of the show will be another Dickinson. The opening line is, "The soul unto itself." The soul unto itself is an imperial friend, or the most agonizing spy an enemy could send. Secure against its own, no treason it can fear. Itself, its sovereign, or of itself, the soul should stand in awe. And for me, this poem, Dickinson is just showing soul as conscientiousness, your conscience. She is saying your soul can either be your friend or your worst enemy. It will always know what you're doing or thinking. And the fact that you certainly know whether it is right or wrong, you should not be concerned it will betray you. It will never tell your secrets or reveal your true feelings. It will always remain loyal. The soul should be amazed and thankful for its relationship, that it can always depend on. Think about it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this poetry episode. I don't know when I'll do another one, but let me know what you guys think. Please be safe tomorrow out there in this world. Don't let tomorrow be what we all fear. Let's be optimistic. Show some kinship. Find some common ground between you and an opposing view. Don't let two old guys divide us, man. It's not worth it. Peace. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find me on YouTube under the Everyday Guy Podcast. You can also find me on any podcast platform under the Everyday Guy Podcast. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can find me at the Everyday Guy Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I think that's it. I don't have a TikTok or what's the other one? The one where you Snapchat. Yeah, I don't have that either. But hit me up. I hope you enjoy. I hope you keep listening. Please like and subscribe and share with someone. The best way we can get this going is, word of mouth, man. Old school way. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I look forward to bringing more to you. Peace.
The Everyday Guy Podcast.
He needs some milk.
You have to go. Enough. You understand, right? Thank you. Thank you, man. You want to take this stuff off?